Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, unfortunately for this individual, this transgender individual, the wonderful day is not in their bingo card because they were stabbed about 9 times because for lying. And normally, this is not. Normally, lying has some horrible negative side effects. It varies depending on the lie. And unfortunately for this lie, it had a very horrible side effect. And we're going to be going over that today. So, what we have here from the Daily Mail says transgender girl was stabbed 9 times at a roller skating party in revenge for lying about her gender before performing a, fun time act on a boy. Court hears. A transgender girl was stabbed 9 times at a roller skating party in revenge for lying about her gender identity before performing a fun time act on a boy, a court has heard. The 18-year-old aspiring model was lured to a roller disco where she was set upon by a mass mob screaming tranny as 5 teenagers punched, kicked, and stamped on the victim who collapsed after being knifed repeatedly by a teenage girl. In a brutal 45-second attack, which was filmed and uploaded on Snapchat, the victim was punched to the ground where she was kicked at least 7 times by 19-year-old Summer Betts-Ramsey before she pulled out a knife. While the victim lay helpless, Betts-Ramsey lunged at her 14 times, knifing the victim in the nose, thigh, hand, and buttocks on February 10th last year. Other teenagers rained down blows, beating her with a pair of roller skates and boots before snatching her handbag and fleeing, leaving the victim in a pool of blood. The victim, who could not be named for legal reasons, only survived the attack at Harrow Leisure Center after a member of the public intervened to stop Betts-Ramsey stamping on her head and called an ambulance. Afterwards, Betts-Ramsey, now 20, boasts about the stabbing, posting a story on Snapchat with footage from the attack and laughing emojis, telling friends, "I'm going to jail, bro. I stabbed her 12 times. Others taunted the victim, sending messages saying, you're looking sweet. Now the 20-year-old is due to be sentenced on Thursday along with 18-year-olds Bradley Harris, Cameron Ossie, and Sheila Hernandez, and a 17-year-old boy who cannot be named after all admitted causing grievous bodily harm with intent. A 17-year-old girl was admitted robbery by taking the victim's bag. The Old Bailey heard on Wednesday how Harris arranged the attack after the victim denied she was transgender before kissing him and performing a mouth act days earlier. Unbeknownst to the victim, Harris recorded the sexual encounter on January 9th on a FaceTime video call. Soon afterwards, a friend phoned to Harris that the victim was transgender, which she admitted only after Harris held her at knife point, saying, "I'll stab you if you lie." The victim later apologized, but Harris was already planning a revenge attack. Hours before the attack, Betts-Ramsey was heard on the phone saying, "I had to go to Harrow to beat up a, tranny bro." The knife assessed 19-year-old decided to bring on one of the blades she had delivered to the children's home where she lived. Prosecutor Dina Casey said the victim had no chance to defend herself as she was punched 6 times immediately on arriving at the leisure center around 6:51 p.m. It is alleged that this was a planned attack, motivated at least in part by her transgender identity, she said. Once she was on the ground, Summer Betts-Ramsey began kicking her at least 7 times before she took out a knife. Hands appeared to pour the contents of a bottle over her before punching her 3 times. As Betts-Ramsey was stabbing, the others continued their attack. Brady Harris kicked her out about 7 times, at one point taking a run up before delivering a kick. Sheila Hunt punched her approximately 10 times while standing next to Summer Betts-Ramsey as she was stabbing her. On Wednesday, the victim described her ordeal in a moving impact statement, saying she had since suffered panic attacks, struggles to sleep, and feared she might not be able to work as a model due to her injuries. "I become depressed and I'm always in fear of leaving the house," she said. "I'm constantly in fear of being assaulted again. I feel at times this is taking over my life. This has resulted in thick scars on my body, which saddens me every time I see them. I feel like I am the one living a life such as due to them. In the past, I have experienced animosity towards being me transgender, but I have never thought anyone would have so much hatred for me and want to assault me in the way they did." So, yeah. This is what happened to this individual. This was the victim, apparently. While the victim lay helpless, Summer spent picture lunged at her 14 times, knifing the victim in the nose, thigh, and hand and buttocks on February 10th. I can't tell if this is the actual person here or it's the victim. The victim could not be named for legal reasons, only survived the attack at Harrow Leisure. Okay, so I'm assuming this is the person that did this. I'm a little bit confused. So, yeah. This is what's going on here, right? And I think everybody needs to take note on what's going on. Now, I'm not endorsing or saying that this is being allowed to the transgender individual, all right? That's what I'm saying here. This should never be allowed. You should not go and stab somebody. This is insane in every regard. But I think I should let these transgender people know on why you probably shouldn't bloody do this. These are one of the reasons. Now, I'm not saying that, like I said before, that you should be allowed that do this. So we have faces of the gang here of who did this. Reveal faces of mass mob who stabbed trans girl outside roller disco in revenge for lying about her gender identity before sex act on boy as they put her behind bars. Now, as I said, I was going to say, you shouldn't be warned to do this regardless of the action, right? But this is the problem this is the reaction you're probably going to end up getting if you don't tell people that you're transgender. If your surgery or whatever is so good that people can't tell the difference, and then you do some type of act on this person, this is probably going to be a reaction. Transgender people, you need to tell your partner or whoever you're going to be doing it with, if you're transgender, all right? You need to tell them because this could be the result. Sometimes it will happen immediately. The day of you doing this. This happened like maybe a couple days or a day afterward, right? You need to tell people this. I'm sorry that you cannot find partners or whatever or what have you because you're transgender, whatever. That's your own problem. That's something that you have to deal with. Maybe it's something that you should probably think before, doing any of these surgeries or what have you. And I'm not saying you're warranted for attack, but you have to tell people. This is the same thing of not telling somebody that you have AIDS and then all of a sudden that you don't expect to not get attacked or whatever or be put in jail because you didn't tell them about your horrible disease that you've had. Even though transgender is not necessarily a disease, it's still something that people don't know and they don't want it. They're not gay. They're not this thing. You can boast and say that you're this opposite sex or whatever, but the 80-90% of people do not agree with you. So when you have that 80-90% of people, and you're the very, very minority of people that are in this country that think this way, you're going to have negative reactions from the other 80-90% of people that do not agree with this and think that they want to date an actual person. Guys that are straight do not want to date men. Straight up. They don't want to date them. You can think that they do, but they don't. All right? That's just fact. If this type of thing would happen, I don't know what my reaction would be. I honestly could not tell you. I'm not a violent person, but I could not tell you what my reaction would be because I do not want to have any relationship with any man whatsoever. I am as straight as the person can get, all right? So you're not gonna, it's not a thing. You have to tell people. Now, what we have is sort of this here. This is the sort of best picture lunge at the victim. So this is the person that did this, all right? And these are the other people that were involved. The attack was spotted by Bradley Harris after he had a sexual encounter with the victim on January 29th. He was later told he was transgender. Betts-Ramsey is pictured in a mugshot. So this is the person here, and these are the other people that were here that did the attack. All right. So yeah. Be as it may. Be as it may. This is what happens when you lie. Just tell the truth. For the love of God. Just tell the truth. I don't know what else to tell people. You can do this type of stuff. You can do whatever. But, yeah. We're not saying this should be endorsed. Because we don't think this should be endorsed. And I'm not going to show the video because I can't show the actual video here. But the fact of the matter is, you can't be doing this type of thing, right? You can't be doing this type of thing. And, it is what it is, man. Like, it's horrible, it's terrible, but again, at the end of the day, this is stuff that you can't be doing. All right? Hopefully this person makes a recovery. Hopefully the person doesn't makes a full recovery, but again, guys, this is what happens when you lie. This is what happens when you don't tell people about your actual sexual nature because people actually do care about this. And horrible consequences happen. This be a warning to you. Let it just be a warning. So again, let's just show you guys this here. This is the person being arrested. I'll be showing this video right here, and yeah, it's nothing too crazy here.
Open up the door, please. It's the police. Open up the door. Oh, unlock it for me so I can open it. Right, when you unlock the door, just take a step back from the door, please, yeah? Show me your hands. Okay, and then you're under arrest. Yeah. One in Harrow. Okay, so you don't have to say anything, but remember, defence do not mention when questioning something which later on in court, and you can do so may be given evidence, okay? Yeah, we'll get you some toast. Open up the door, please.
Yeah, so there you have it. That's the whole thing, and yeah, you can't be doing this, guys. I'm not saying that this person will obviously deserved it, but it is what it is, man. Like, it's a messed up world, man. But yeah, all right, guys, that's it for video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.
I'm disgusted by what I see in public. Even people closest to us can't be trusted. This is algorithmic disease, the social media.